President Biden and Vice President Harris taking the oath of office on an inauguration day unlike any we have seen. The new commander-in-chief vowing to restore the soul of America during what has been an unprecedented year. The pair has set a lofty agenda in the midst of a pandemic and with much of the country at odds, from global health to climate change and racial inequality. And just hours into the first day in office, President Biden hit the ground running, as Joe said, signing more than a dozen executive orders. NewsNation correspondent Joe Khalil is live for us in the nation's capital with the very latest. Joe.
Yeah, Marnie, it's not unusual that a new administration wants to hit the ground running, but it is somewhat remarkable on day one, just a couple hours after taking your oath, that you got more than 12 executive orders ready to go, ready to sign. So clearly there was some pre-planning there, and this administration says they want to get the ball moving forward, but a lot of that starts for them with removing some of the previous administration's policies.
President Joe Biden wasted no time diving into his agenda, just hours after taking the oath of office.
I, Joseph Robinette Biden Jr., do solemnly swear.
He signed 17 executive orders and directives focused on the pandemic, immigration, and the environment, much of it undoing Trump administration policies.
I thought with the state of the nation today is no time to waste, get to work immediately.
Among President Biden's actions
is the commitment I made that we're going to rejoin the Paris Climate Accord as of today.
Rejoining the Paris Climate Accords, ending President Trump's travel ban on 7 countries, 5 of which are Muslim-majority populations, and establishing a COVID response czar.
There's no time to start like today.
The new directives also offer further protection for DACA recipients, immigrants who were brought to the country illegally as children, and they stop further construction on the border wall.
I don't begrudge him the right to change things. I just hope he would use that right wisely.
Republican Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina says President Biden should reach out to his side of the aisle, arguing the new president will get better results that way. But Graham says the new president's priorities are his prerogative.
You got elected running against Trump, so you have the right to change some of his policies by executive order. The question for Joe Biden is, will these changes work?
Now, there are some things that President Biden clearly says he wants to accomplish right away, one being that $1.9 trillion COVID relief package. However, he does not have the authority to sign that into law through an executive order. So we're going to see how he works with Congress, because he's going to need congressional leaders to get that done. He has made overtures, at least in his rhetoric, to Republicans to want to work across the aisle. We'll see how all of that plays out.
And, Joe, we know for a fact, obviously, tonight that the outgoing administration did not follow a lot of the typical traditional gestures that an outgoing administration does. But one tradition did survive. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so the president today got a letter from outgoing President Donald Trump. We know that the former president left that letter for the president on the Resolute desk, which is a tradition, which is a norm that, often the current president will, reveal and talk about. Today, Jen Psaki, the press secretary, did get some questions about that. She didn't say what was in that letter. Joe Biden has said that the letter essentially said it was cordial, but didn't get any details about what it actually said. And Jen Psaki, in taking those questions, said there are no plans at this point, for at least for now, for Joe Biden to be talking to former President Donald Trump. So who knows when we might see what was actually in that letter, what Donald Trump wrote. Interestingly as well, former press secretary Kayleigh McEnany also left letters to some of the communication staff coming in on the Biden administration, at least 3 letters to staffers that are starting their jobs today as well.
And, of course, Jen Psaki promising that we will return to the days of daily press briefings that will be conducted by her as the new public spokeswoman for the administration. Joe, thank you for your reporting there tonight.